Good evening, boxing fans, and welcome back. Am I the only one who hopes that the Teddy Atlas fireman speech was merely a preview of better things to come this weekend when Timothy Bradley returns to the ring in his third fight against Manny Pacquiao?
The fire's coming. Are you ready for the fire? Look, we're firemen. Okay. We are firemen! The heat doesn't bother us. We live in the heat. We train in the heat. Yeah, let's go. It tells us that we're ready. We're at home. We're where we're supposed to be. Flames don't intimidate us. What do? We control the flames. We control them. We move the flames where we want to. And then we extinguish them.
This is Rummy's Corner. So with regards to the upcoming third fight between Manny Pacquiao and Timothy Bradley, honestly, this is a fight that never had much intrigue for me. I don't think it was a fight that was in particularly high demand to have a rubber match. Officially, Timothy Bradley won the first fight, even though the large majority of viewers felt that Pacquiao had deserved the nod. Pacquiao was victorious in the second fight, which was very similar to their first fight in a lot of ways. I think Bradley might have been a bit more competitive early on. But the bottom line is, neither one of these fights had a lot of compelling action going on, and most people thought that Pacquiao comfortably won both decisions. What makes this fight a little more intriguing, for me at least, is the Teddy Atlas factor. When you consider Teddy Atlas, he's a guy he's a good trainer. He's definitely a good trainer. But it's hard for me to gauge whether or not he's actually a great trainer. That whole me not knowing shit about boxing is obviously a big obstacle. But beyond that, I look at the guys that Atlas has trained. I think of Michael Moore, Alexander Povetkin, and Michael Grant jump to mind. And in the case of those three fighters, I think those are examples of guys whose talent, I don't think that Atlas took them any further than their talent level probably would have taken them in any case. But Teddy's a good trainer, and I think he's a very good commentator. And as a side note, I've always had an interest in Teddy Atlas and his presence in boxing because when my father was a kid growing up on Staten Island, their family physician was actually Dr. Theodore Atlas, Teddy Atlas's father, and I've heard a lot of firsthand accounts about what a great and generous guy he was, that the type of guy you just don't see around anymore these days, always helping out people in need. I know Teddy does good work with his foundation. I don't know that Teddy's a great trainer, but my point is, with those guys, Michael Moore, Alexander Povetkin, Michael Grant, I'm forgetting some names, but with those guys, I don't know that he would have brought them to any higher level, but he was always a good motivational speaker. And while I might not view Teddy Atlas as a great trainer, I do think he has great qualities in terms of being a motivator, of encouraging his fighters. I don't necessarily believe that he had the chemistry that worked with those guys where Michael Moore, Povetkin, I don't know that he clicked with them as well as I think he clicks with Timothy Bradley. And with Atlas's style of training and Bradley's style of fighting, and more importantly, Bradley's attributes that he doesn't always utilize the way he should, I actually think that the Atlas-Bradley combo is a very interesting clash of personalities that I think could work together. I think it worked in the Brandon Rios fight when Atlas gave the fireman speech. Bradley said it fired him up, and I think that you could see that it did. Bradley could have used something like this in the first two fights with Pacquiao, because in the first fight especially, I remember a lot of the early rounds, Bradley would actually be winning for the first minute or two in the round before Pacquiao would finish stronger and land a big punch in there, which would often steal the round because he would land the more telling blows. I thought Bradley did well in the first fight, but I thought he lost the majority of the rounds. In the second fight, I thought he started off well early on, and then I thought Pacquiao took over later in the fight and looked a little better overall on the full balance than he did in his first fight. I know Bradley had ankle and feet issues in both of the fights, but I think Bradley could have used someone like Teddy Atlas. So for me, one of the most interesting aspects about this fight, really the only interesting aspect to me, is can Atlas push Bradley to that next level? And I believe that he possibly can. And as far as Pacquiao goes, I honestly don't think he's as hungry. I honestly don't think he's been as hungry as he used to be. I think the end of his peak hunger years, I think it came in the fight with Miguel Cotto. I think that was the last effort where Pacquiao truly looked like a force with an incredible killer instinct. I think he lost it somewhere along the lines going into the Margarito fight. But now, coming off of the lopsided loss to Floyd Mayweather last year, having been out of the ring almost a year, having been in steady decline, in my opinion, at least since the Mosley fight, Pacquiao has a lot to prove coming off the Floyd loss, but I don't think he's the same fighter, and I actually wouldn't be surprised if this time around, if Bradley deserves a victory, and they wind up giving the decision to Pacquiao, the reverse of what happened in their first fight, because you hear a lot of little rumblings and things about Pacquiao possibly facing Canelo later this year, which would not surprise me at all. Anyway, as far as my official prediction, I think that the Firemen, the new duo between Teddy Atlas and Timothy Bradley, I think they are going to rise to the occasion. And I think it might be a perfect storm sort of scenario with Pacquiao and Bradley being where they are at this particular point in time. So for my official pick, I like Timothy Bradley by a close but clear unanimous decision over Manny Pacquiao. I could be wrong. It certainly wouldn't be the first time, and surely it wouldn't be the last. Either way, I myself am interested in seeing what the Teddy Atlas trained version of Timothy Bradley can do against the current version of Manny Pacquiao. This is Rumsfeld. Thank you very much for tuning in. Enjoy the fight this weekend, and if you like this episode, please subscribe to my channel and stay tuned for more episodes in the future. Enjoy. Good day. Adios. Someone stop the fucking camera.